The day the HOA crossed my fence, a battle for heritage. The morning broke over my ranch with the kind of quiet that only comes from years of hard-won peace. I was sipping coffee on the porch, boots propped on the railing, when the sharp crack of gunfire shattered the stillness. My heart sank as laughter followed rowdy, careless laughter. I set my mug down, scanned the horizon, and saw pickup trucks parked at the edge of my north field, men in camo unloading gear like they owned the place. My bulls, federally protected heritage longhorns, grazed nearby, oblivious to the danger. That's when I knew this wasn't just a misunderstanding. This was war. My name's Tom Harlan, and I've run the Harlan Ranch since my father passed it down in '89. It's been in our family since 1875, a legacy etched in sweat and soil. Those bulls, Titan, the stoic patriarch, and Scout, the skittish youngster, are no ordinary cattle. They're a rare breed, less than 50 left in Texas, each tagged and monitored by the feds. So when I saw armed strangers on my land, I didn't hesitate. I hopped in my ATV and tore down the trail, gravel spitting under the tires. At the ridge, the scene was chaos. For hunters, bearkins already littering the ground, were setting up a blind 30 yards from my barn. One was aiming his rifle toward my bulls. I parked, stepped out, and kept my voice steady. "You boys lost." The biggest one, sporting a tactical vest, grinned. "Nah, Linda said we could hunt here. Said it's community land." Before I could respond, a voice chirped behind me, sharp as a coyote's yap. "Morning, Tom." Linda Baxter, HOA president, strutted up in a spotless blazer, clutching a clipboard like a scepter. "I figured you'd sleep in, so I handled things." "Handled what?" I asked, not turning around. "Deer complaints," she said, waving a hand. "Residents say they're ruining gardens. I invited the hunting club. Vetted professionals, of course." I faced her, slow and deliberate. "Linda, this isn't a deer field. It's my livestock range. Those aren't just cows. They're federally protected longhorns. You just broke half a dozen laws." Her smile froze. One hunter lowered his rifle, muttering, "Wait, what?" That's when I knew this story would be one for the ages. I dialed the game warden, Jake Riley, while Linda sputtered about community safety. When Jake arrived, he took one look at Titan's yellow federal tag and whistled. "Well, damn, Linda. You let shooters onto a protected range." She threw up her hands. "They look like cows." "That's why you don't run a ranch," Jake shot back. He turned to me. "Trespass, endangerment, or wildlife harm?" "All of the above," I said, holding up a boundary survey. "This line's been Harlan land since 1875. Linda tried to claim it was HOA common ground, but the map shut her up. The hunters were cited for trespass and illegal firearm discharge, and Linda followed me around, yapping about obscure laws. I told her ignorance wasn't a defense, especially not with her HOA badge. That night, I checked on the bulls. Titan snorted, unbothered, but a tension hung in the air. People like Linda don't back down, they double down. I was right. At 2:41 a.m., my trail cam blinked red. The west fence was cut clean through, and Titan, Scout, and 3 others were gone. The trail told a story: trampled grass, tire marks, a snapped branch. Scout's hoofprints were uneven, was limping. I saddled my mare, Daisy, and rode to the southern flats, where the herd often fled when spooked. There they were, huddled by a pond. Scout stood on 3 legs, blood matting his shoulder. A small caliber graze, likely a .22. Someone had taken a shot at my bull. The vet, Dr. Sarah Cole, confirmed it wasn't random. Too straight, too high. They aimed and missed by inches. I sent the bullet fragment to the sheriff and my lawyer, Mark Evans. Sleep didn't come that night. Every creak had me gripping the Winchester by my bed. This wasn't ignorance anymore. This was sabotage. At the county office, I handed Assistant Prosecutor Emily Ward a folder stuffed with records, heritage documents, boundary maps, and a cease and desist letter Mark had sent the HOA after the hunting incident. Emily, a local who knew the Harlan name, nodded. "Linda's acting like your land's a free-for-all. If she's behind this, we'll need proof." "I'll get it," I said. I installed new cameras, motion sensors, and reflective no trespass signs. At the feed store, I overheard HOA residents whispering about an emergency meeting Linda called to address rancher interference. I went, not to speak, but to watch. The community center was packed, Linda at the front in a yellow blazer, clutching a binder labeled HOA Strategic Plan. She spun a tale about cooperative land use, suggesting my ranch was better suited for joint recreation. A man in the back raised his hand. Isn't that his land? I heard it's federally protected. Linda's smile tightened. Conflicting claims, she said. That's when I stepped forward, handing out copies of the Federal Breed Registry, boundary maps, and court-recognized protections. The room went silent. I left without a word. Days later, the sheriff sent me stills from my new camera. Two men, bolt cutters in hand, caught mid-act. One was Carl Tatum, a hunter from the first incident. The other? Linda's brother, Dave Baxter, wearing an HOA lanyard. They didn't even bother with masks. Sheriff Connie Harper called at dawn. Felony trespass, criminal mischief, maybe conspiracy. You pressing charges? I looked at Scout, bandaged but grazing, and Titan, steady as ever. All of them, I said. Dave was cuffed on his lawn, Linda screaming about defamation. A subpoena of HOA emails uncovered gold. Linda had written, I'll personally handle Harlan's fence if the board won't vote for open access. These ranch boundaries stifle progress. That phrase, personally handle, nailed her. By week's end, she faced charges for criminal mischief, conspiracy, and violating federal agricultural protections. Linda didn't go quietly. She hosted a town hall, claiming the charges were politically motivated and painting me as a greedy land hoarder. Her speech, live-streamed by accident, went viral. These bulls aren't special, she screeched, sparking memes and a TikTok remix. Her guest speaker, her cousin Phil, ranted about land rights and got laughed off the stage. The HOA turned on her. A special meeting stripped her of her presidency, banned her from leadership, and left her isolated. I doubled security cameras, lights, reinforced gates. Then I posted a sign, Public Heritage Livestock Viewing. Educational visits welcome. No HOA access. I filed with the state for educational tours, and soon, schools and reporters came calling. The ranch became a symbol of preservation, raising funds for a new shed and steel fencing. At Linda's deposition, her lawyer tried to muddy the boundary lines, but Emily unrolled a century-old survey map, backed by satellite imagery. Then came the emails. When Emily read Linda's message to Dave, do it. He won't catch us. He's just one guy with cows, Linda's bravado cracked. Her lawyer objected, but the evidence was airtight. Outside, Linda hissed. You think this makes you the hero? I stared, silent, like Titan facing a coyote. She stormed off, her power gone. Dave pled guilty, taking community service and fines. He admitted Linda's role, sealing her fate. The HOA rewrote its rules, and a new president, Margaret Lane, brought calm. I held an open ranch day, where kids pet Scout, now Scout the Brave, and Titan posed like a king. Donations poured in, and a journalist wrote a feature, Preserving Legacy. She asked if Linda thought she was right. I said, she thought rules made her right. But land remembers who respects it. One morning, I found a note wedged in my gate. You won the courtroom, but the land belongs to the people. Your bulls don't make you king. Linda's handwriting. Instead of confronting her, I formalized the ranch as a protected educational reserve. State officials walked the land, marveling at Titan and the native grasses. The ranch was designated a cultural heritage site, untouchable by HOAs or developers. News spread. TV crews filmed kids feeding Titan. Linda tried a community cleanup near my land, but no one showed. Dave, serving his sentence, helped with student programs. One day, he said, Linda thought control was leadership. She was wrong. I nodded and moved on. I saw Linda once more, by the road, watching Titan graze. They're not special, she said. They're proof, I replied. Proof the land remembers who respects it. She walked away, shoulders slumped, her empire dust. Summer brought new calves, school tours, and a 4-H picnic. Titan became a local legend, his face on buttons and a bakery cookie. The educational barn opened, and we grilled under the stars, neighbors and officials sharing stories. A boy asked if my grandpa built the ranch. He started it, I said. The bulls kept it going. A stone marker now stands at the trail's end, Harlan Ranch Heritage Site, founded 1875, protected 2025. The state's final letter confirmed the land's permanent protection. No one could touch it, not Linda, not her rules, not time. Linda's interference, meant to destroy, had preserved the ranch forever. She didn't understand stewardship, but her failure gave it immortality. That night, on the ridge with Titan, I felt no bitterness, just peace. The land knew who it belonged to, not because I owned it, but because I listened. What do you think? This story is about more than bulls and fences. It's about justice, power, and standing up to bullies. Have you faced injustice or seen someone abuse authority like Linda? Share your thoughts in the comments. Was Tom right to fight so hard, or should he have compromised? Let's hear your take on violence, fairness, and what it means to protect what matters. Your voice counts.